All right. What's up, guys? Wow, it's so weird. Like, Steve, I can see your face, bro. What is going on here, man? Is the
Yeah.
microphone working? All
Hmm.
right.
Make love to the
Fuck-
mic.
Fucking weird, man. I can see my face. You're no longer the radio voice guy.
Yeah, so much for the face for radio.
Man, good
So
thing I got the face for radio and you have
no, no, it doesn't
never
work.
mind. Never mind.
So everyone who's wondering what the hell's going on, we're doing this virtually, and we can actually see each other remotely for the
Yeah.
first time in a while. So first time doing this. So if you want to actually see our antics and see what we talk about throughout this show, as well as some of the different partner products and things like that, we're going to be able to show them all for your visual pleasure.
Yeah, and I mean to add with it, like when we have guests on that are talking about, say, a fisherman and they want to show their products or some of their kills or whatever. I mean, we can show them right here, as as we did throughout this podcast. So it's really cool. I'm excited, man, and I can actually see your face, and it's like not really like just talking to a microphone. So I'm
Yeah,
pretty
but see, the
pumped about
face
that.
comes involved and everyone gets a little bit disappointed.
I know, I
The
know.
voice, and you add a face, and it's like, oh, well, that kind of knocks the voice down a few tones.
I guess so, huh?
So,
But do me one favor, when you guys are on the YouTube page, man, just go and just like that button that says subscribe. If you guys could do that, that would mean the world to us, as we always say. But at least you can keep in touch with what actually we're actually doing here on our YouTube page. Now that we have the video podcast, and then soon for we have our hunting videos will be coming here on this platform. So make sure to subscribe. And if you haven't already, get on and on the Apple side for you that listen to Apple, if you can give us a 5-star review, that's how kind of we get out there and people can find us. So we can get the word spread. I mean, after this podcast, I'm not really sure that people are still going to get a 5-star review. So hold off until the next one if you wouldn't. We have a very special guest and one that is always explicit for all of you that don't already know. Um, so cool.
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and this one was kind of a random last minute off the hip. Uh, we wanted somebody that understood that this is an experiment, but at the same time we could just bullshit with. And you
Yeah.
really don't make a much better pick than this, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I totally
Not
agree. And it's
experimental.
someone, yeah, and it's somebody that we need to have on the podcast regularly, but we've all been very busy and shit's been going on, and he kind of helped tailor this thing right off from the beginning. So
Definitely. Well,
yeah, man. So how's
before
the
we
week
go
been
in,
for you, bro?
week's not
You've been
been
setting
bad.
stand. You've been setting stands. You've been getting a lot of shit done this weekend. So
Yeah, food plots are planted, prepped, and coming up nicely. That nice tail end of the hurricane made its way up through here, which by the time it got here, it was just a really nice day and a half light rain. So,
it looks like you're gonna get hit again.
yeah, it looks like there's a little more coming this way, but hey, it's all right.
Fucking
Lots
nuts.
need a little bit of rain. It's
That's
always a
it.
good thing. Plus, it's keeping that temperature down. Usually, right now, it's hot as balls and it is beautiful. I think tomorrow's supposed to be like 69 degrees.
I
So,
love
how
it.
do you beat that?
I love it. It's been nice here. The same.
I mean, we may
And
actually have a nice, cool fall to hunt in this year.
I can't wait. Not being able to just only hunt in my new broadside sweater. I'm gonna be excited.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice.
It'll be
I'm
nice
looking
to be able
forward
to
to that.
layer up.
Yep. Yeah, and we'll put that out. We'll have an upcoming video covering some of broadside and some of the light spectrums and different things, as well as kind of a quick overview of the new hoodies and maybe some other things. So stay tuned. Keep an eye out for that. That'll be posted here before too long.
We got a lot of good shit coming out. We got a good a little overview of the Shikar sticks, climbing system with the platform. We have the broadside camo. There's a wicked and
Some wicked twisted
twisted.
coming out.
A
Yep.
little bit of everything, so everybody can kind of see. I don't know. Steven's the one that's fucking doing it, not me, dude. I'm horrible with that shit. That's why we have Steve.
I let Trev be the actor
Yeah,
because he looks better on camera.
it's well now I didn't look good before, but no, it's just Steve's the man behind the lens when it comes to making the commercials, making all this technology shit work. Because I am not that person. I'm here to shoot shit, kill shit, find shit, and eat shit. That's about it.
Yeah.
It's about what I'm good for, man. I'm
Like I
not the
said,
tech
when
guy.
you got a face for radio, I don't mind being behind the mic, but I'd prefer to be behind the camera as opposed to in front of the lens. So I let you cover that. You do it nicely.
No, and I enjoy it, man. I enjoy just killing things. That's my thing. I like to catch fish. I like to kill things, I guess. I don't know. I'm not good at it. I just enjoy it. I didn't say it was good. I just said I enjoyed it.
That's all that matters. Right,
Yeah,
wrong, or
man.
indifferent. As long as you're having a good time, you're doing it for the right reason.
That's right, bro. So my week's been a little crazy, a little hectic, work wise. Things are kind of starting to wind down. We're getting some good fucking pictures. About time, man. Shit's really, really good. I think I might have my first hard horn deer on camera, so I'm pretty pumped about that. A lot of big deer that we're gonna be chasing this year, but it's gonna kind of keep me kind of occupied. I gotta find a couple extra spots that don't have the big deer that we're after, because the season's so long, starting in September. So
Right.
thank God. Uh, I
Yeah,
gotta
rub it
find
in.
somewhere to just go shoot some does or something, because some of the good bucks we have, and then I can't wait to be down in Virginia. So it's been a good thing there. This week coming up, I think I am going offshore again tuna fishing. Just saying. Wednesday,
Nice.
Thursday, I'll be off the grid for a little bit. We'll be offshore. Kind of gonna probably be my last hurrah offshore, so that I gotta focus on whitetails and being on land. It is that time. I know everybody kind of, oh, blackfish season, this, that, and the other thing. Fuck that shit. I'm ready to kill things. So
Yeah,
I'm
well,
pumped.
after your season, blackfish aren't exactly exciting.
No, they just taste good. They just taste good.
Yeah, I get that, but still.
I want to chase big bucks. I finally got the cameras, got sets, got sticks, got this, got that. I'm fucking ready. Ready,
Nice.
ready, ready. So,
It's going to be a
but
good year, man.
yeah, we got some good hunts planned. We got some cool people we're gonna go visit and see, and I'm pumped. And we got fucking video podcast, bro. Video podcast. So stop what you're doing and come and check us out, because you're gonna miss out on the awesome things from our partners.
What's the first one?
The one in my hand, Norris Game Calls. Get them in close. If you guys haven't checked these things out, make sure you go and do the new ones. There's still some of the rosewood left. It's the burl rosewood. It's, what is it?
I'm not even going to try to say it. It's a
I don't even know. That's why I
South
didn't say it.
American country off, and I don't have it in front of me. So I'm
But
not going to butcher it, but it is beautiful rosewood burl.
yeah, so with that rosewood, it is it's endangered, so they can't harvest any more of that wood. So it's kind of expensive to get. So it's kind of special. So go and check them out. Nor'easterGameCalls.com. If you guys haven't seen them, they have this rubber tube on them, which is significant only to Nor'easterGameCalls.com. And the cool thing about them is when you do, you can change the tone with them, and then you can go right up into the bleat. So it's kind of cool there. He also makes all kinds of crazy stuff. Ooh, I can't do that. Sorry. That was the wrong button. I'm not used to this video thing, so bear with me. The nice thing is with a lot of his other calls, I mean, like this is a open reed coyote howler. This is a crow call. Look at the burl wood on that thing. That thing is absolutely gorgeous. This is the squealer. This is a cactus squealer. I mean, these things are absolutely gorgeous. It's like a fucking kazoo. So it's all kinds of cool stuff that comes out of Nor'easter Game Calls. If you want to get your stuff laser etched and engraved, you can also do that. Like this is the little clucker with the Outdoor Drive podcast on it, Nor'easter Game Calls. So make sure to go and check them out, nor'eastergamecalls.com. Oh, hey, hold on 1 second. And I get bitched at all the time because I don't share this. But this is a piece that I hold dear to the heart. This is something that Mark gave me as a gift. He mailed it to me one day. He had asked me for some teeth. So I actually went and pulled a bunch of teeth out of a deer skull. He made me a pen. So I have this very nice good luck business gesture from Nor'easter Game Calls. So you can also get pens. You can get all kinds of crazy things. He's got, what is those things? Muskox earrings right now, I think he's got for sale.
Yeah, those things are cool looking.
always making something up there. But go and check them out. NoRacerGameCalls.com. Also, wickedandtwistedbowstrings.com. Bam. You can get these crazy fuckers. They just went on sale. So for all you COVID people, you can cover your mask or you make these your mask. So those are from Wicked and Twisted Bowstrings. But also your bowstrings, you can check those out at wickedandtwistedbowstrings.com. Use the promo code Outdoor Drive, capital ODD, on that one. I think it's Outdoor Drive 10 on that one.
Yep.
Also, D&M Custom Arrows, dmarrows.com. Check these bad boys out.
That's a pretty arrow you got there.
Man, you guys are going to see these every week. How excited are you? Look at these.
I know
things.
Gary's probably not, because he's eventually going to have to start sending you a new one for every week.
I guess that's it.
So it's not the same one over and over.
Boom. There's that one. I won't even share the other one. Fuck it. I'm only gonna share this one. So this is his trad arrow, one of his trad arrows, and he actually puts these all together by himself, by hand, and all of the pinstriping is all done by hand. All of that is all put in one at a time, or like in its own color.
Section at a time, yeah.
I'm not really sure how that works. I'm not
gonna try to do it. I'll tell you that much.
No, I'm not that guy. Oh, my fucking camera. This whole camera thing is weird. Also, Wild Edge Inc., the leader in mobile hunting. If you guys haven't checked them out yet, this is the Wild Edge step. Pretty easy thing to use. You know, you just put this thing around the fucking tree, boom, bang, oop, knocking stuff over, go over, rover. Don't ask me how to do this. All right, that's not right. But anyways.
Yeah, it's a lot different when it's not on a tree.
Oh, I know. It's totally, but that's a Wild Edge step. If you guys haven't checked them out, they make the perch, your aiders, your naders, your swaders, your Kong ducks. Got some cool other shit coming out. They're actually working with Out on the Limb for a new perch. So that's pretty pumped. Also, speaking of Out on the Limb manufacturing, Out on the Limb MFG.com. This is the Shikar stick. You guys haven't seen this. It's a pretty badass stick. This is a 17-inch model here. So it's pretty cool.
And that thing is stupid light.
Stupid light. Stupid. I mean, like.
We went and played with him while we were up in CT last weekend. And when he tosses you the pack of 4, you're expecting to catch a pack of 4 sticks. And it feels about like catching a single old lone wolf stick. I mean, it's insane.
Absolutely. The whole 4-pack is like that. They're wicked. They're wicked fucking light. I can't even believe it. I can't wait to use them. And I went and got the Backwoods mobile hunting from Mike Isbell, his Versa aider. So I'm super pumped about that to go along with the Shikar sticks. If you guys haven't checked them out, for all of your aiders and naders and all that good stuff and all kinds of crazy mobile gear, like how to, rig your backpack. We're going to have him on a podcast here in the future. So he'll really go through all of it, but I'm excited because I have that. Now I can get even higher in the tree, which on a 17-inch stick, you can get pretty fucking high. But if I can go down to 3 sticks and then do it, and also having an aider for my steps, I can get even higher. So this is going to be pretty cool there. Broadside Camo, broadsidecamo.com. Here it is, the photorealism. This is actually, this is the Versa series, right? Is it Versa series?
Yeah, it's your Versa lights. You've got
Versa lights.
The closer on the inside in this particular situation, which is your elevated tree position, looking out with the nice white backlight behind it. And you have the Omega on the other side, which is your lower ground, deep hardwood look.
It's that fucking radio voice shit. Again. Fucking did it again. Who else do we got, Steve?
Bow Fishing Magazine.
That's right. Oh, I got the handy dandy notebook.
Oh, cheater.
I'm just kidding. Bowfishingmagazine.com. Go and check them out for your virtual bow fishing magazine. It's got a little bit of everything in there. Actually, what's kind of funny is today I found another one who's got a virtual magazine. It's Arrow something or other. I don't even know, but I found another one. My facts didn't really go anywhere because I forgot what I was talking about, but there's a arrow hunting one also.
Nice.
I'll tell you some other time, but there's virtual magazine. Go and check it out.
Nice squirrel.
Last but not least, rackrage.com for all of your rack apparel. Pretty badass for him and her. Go and check them out.
Definitely.
Rackrage.com. So cool rack t-shirts. They got some, I think they also have some tumblers and stuff from Timid Tumbler, and they got all kinds of cool little, they're a little brand. Cool brand. Cool.
There you go.
Cool. I don't have one yet. It's on order. It's coming in soon, so I'll show you guys when that happens. But
nice. Well, I'll tell you one thing, and this is going to be really interesting on video, is we need to crank it up. We're an episode back, and our buddy Mike has just kicked over the news for the cruise. So let's crank it up.
Crank it up.
Hey everyone, Mike here with some news for your cruise. Let's start this one off in Maine, where the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife has proposed a closure of the Lily Bay area to fishing to protect native brook trout, specifically the large shore spawning fish concentrated in the Lily Bay Narrows. This is due to increased pressure in the area during and post spawn. In the winter of 2020, they saw an increase in angler days in Lily Bay from increase from 25 to 45% of the total lake-wide use, with most of the pressure being in the Narrows. Moosehead Lake already has several large areas closed to fishing to protect post-spawning wild brook trout. Spencer Bay was closed in 1939, and Socoteen Bay was closed in 1950. The proposed closure would include a northern boundary from just south of Porcupine Point to Laker Point, and a southern boundary from Sugar Island just west of Dollar Island to the Lily Bay State Park boundary. For more information on the proposal and information on how to submit comments, you can go to maine.gov/news-events/rulemaking-proposals.html. So now off to Kansas, where hunters and wildlife experts have been looking for ways to control the increasing coyote population. Well, on August 20th, the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism commissioners voted 5-2 to allow the use of light, night vision, and thermal imaging to hunt coyotes at night. The new regulations will take effect in 2021. The use of the approved equipment will be permitted from January 1st through March 31st only. Hunters will be required to have a night vision equipment permit, which will cost $2.50. The use of a vehicle when hunting with the equipment is prohibited, and the use of the equipment will not be permitted on department lands and waters, including WIHA and IWIHA properties. So now on to some national news. On August 18th, the U.S. Secretary of Interior announced an increase of public land recreational access, which will expand hunting and fishing opportunities on more than 2.3 million acres of land at 147 national wildlife refuges and national fish hatcheries. The Trump administration's move increases the number of units open to hunting in the National Wildlife Refuge system to 430, and those open to fishing to 360, and increases the total number of NFH system units open to hunting and fishing to 21. This is being described as the single largest expansion of hunting and fishing opportunities in the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's history. Coupled with the signing of the Great American Outdoors Act, sportsmen and women have had a banner couple of months, a lot of progress. The announcement includes opening migratory bird, upland bird, big game hunting, and sport fishing opportunities in Everglades Headwaters National Wildlife Refuge in Florida, upland bird and big game hunting at Bamforth National Wildlife Refuge in Wyoming, sport fishing at Canyon Valley NWR in West Virginia for the first time, new big game hunting acreage at Willapa NWR in Washington and Balcones Canyonlands NWR in Texas. New acreage will be open to upland and migratory bird big game hunting, and sport fishing at Tallgrass Prairie NWR in Minnesota. New hunting season dates have been added to the current pheasant hunting opportunities at San Luis NWR in California. Some of the hatchery changes include opening up upland and migratory bird and big game hunting at the Jordan River NFH in Michigan and the Little White Salmon NFH in Washington. Sport fishing will formally be open at the Berkshires NFH in Massachusetts. And for a complete list of the NWR lands open to hunting, you can look at a map on the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service website. And for NWR lands open to fishing, you can look at the service's map for recreational pursuit. So hopefully some great opportunities there across the country. And now, lastly, let's turn to the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers New England chapter. They are holding a Get Outdoors giveaway with a prize package valued at $1,400. Winners will receive 6 prizes. Those include a BHA Logo Yeti Tundra 65, a Wilderness Light Backpacker Pro Ultralight Float Tube, a Crispy gift card for any Crispy boot up to $400, a $100 Go Hunt gift card, a Patagonia 45-liter Black Hole Duffel, and a Gerber Pack Hatchet. You can get 10 entries for $10 on the BHA New England chapter website. Entries can be purchased until midnight on September 13th, with the drawing being held on September 16th. You can also get free entries by sharing the sweepstakes. You get 1 free entry for posting a link to the sweepstakes, 5 entries when friends use your link, and friends who use the link get an additional 5 entries as well. So it's a great way to support BHA and have a chance at some great prizes. So as always, if you have any news, feel free to reach out to me, Mike Salter on Facebook, or bearded_bowhunter21 on Instagram. And with that, enjoy the rest of your ride.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, Mike Stalter.
Appreciate your hard work,
man.
dude. We really do appreciate it.
He does that shit no matter what. Last week, his eyes were dilated, and he was still trying to get us the news. He's on it. He's on his fucking game. I hope he shoots a monster. Last year was probably the best season he's ever had, and this year's I'm hoping to be better. So
yeah. Well, hell, he's won every product in the frickin' marketplace, so he's got everything you could need.
This is very true. This is very true. He's the one that named the Ascender series for broadside camo.
Indeed. So yeah.
Let's get fucking crazy. I know you guys might not be ready for this, but this one is definitely parental advisory needed for this one. We got the Modern Assassin coming on. Can you believe?
Don't even need to say anything more than that.
Oh, all right. Podcast over. No.
I'd say drop the mic, but we're going to keep this thing hot because it's going to get wild.
Let's get him on the line here.
There we go.
Nice shot. Here comes a shooter. Shooter. Big buck. Stack. All right. So our first video podcast, we're here. We got myself, Trev.
This is Steven.
Modern Assassin, what's up, y'all?
What's up, man? Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. How you fuckers doing?
We're doing real good, dude. Getting closer to deer season.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, it's been a while since we all caught up, so it'll be interesting to see what's new in the world.
I know. And Trev, you got the basement sharpening up down there for the podcast. It's looking good, bro. And
Thanks,
seeing
man.
them antlers on the wall in the background of you boys is making me itchy even more for this shit.
Oh yeah, about that time.
everyone's
Let it
get,
fly.
everybody's getting all the trail cam pictures now, dude, and things have just been it's just I'm itching to be in the freaking woods, man. Everybody I talk to is on the same page.
Yeah, dude, I just got in. Literally, I just opened the boxes. I haven't even unwrapped them from the packaging yet. I just got 2 of those Lone Wolf cameras.
Oh,
I know,
nice.
Trev, you got what did you call him? What the Funk? You
Yeah,
got
what the
him on
fuck?
the
Yeah.
Lone Wolf last
Actually,
year,
he's right
right
there. That's
before you
him right
took him
there.
down.
Yep, that's him right there.
Word.
Yep.
All right, yeah. I know you had a lot of luck with them cameras last year, dude. And I fucking hate trail cams, man.
Mhm.
It's like you get so excited, and then half the time the fuckers don't work. Especially, I end up buying the like wild game innovation ones because they're on sale for like $29, and they're
They
not
work
even
for
worth
5
half
pictures
that
and they
shit.
quit working. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
I get so fucking frustrated with them things, and you know, that's why I never really wanted to spend the money in a good trail camera, and they just nothing has really lasted past a season, maybe 2. But Trev won that Lone Wolf camera at the WCB shoot, so I actually got to see it and look at it and everything, and then seeing the results you got from it, I was like, all right, fuck yeah, if I'm putting money into it, these are the ones I'm going to go with. You know, they don't have anything cellular, but you guys running any cellular cameras?
Yeah, we're running 16 of them right now.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
You got 16 of them?
Yeah, I got 16 Spy Point micro LTEs right now running.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I went
You
hard,
got
bro.
stock in like you got like stock in AT&T in Connecticut and shit to run that.
Verizon.
Jeez.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why you're looking so damn good. You fucking running around the woods, climbing trees to hang 16 fucking spy points.
Yeah.
It's got your ass looking right, bro.
Just trying to, I mean, just kind of making that move to that next level in the public land world, you know? And I mean, I got some hammers on camera right now, dude. I'm just super pumped for this season as far as, you know, the public land here in Connecticut. But the thing is that I'm not even going to spend half the season here. I'm going to be traveling around hunting somewhere
Right.
else.
Yeah.
Dude, that's dope though. I mean, like that there traveling around to hunt somewhere else is the fun to me of hunting public land too. Like traveling to hunt somewhere else, it's a new thing, it's a new situation. Like it doesn't matter where it is. If you go with a buddy and you go hunt his property, or you go somewhere new and you hunt it, the unknown factor of going into a new place for me is like just so fucking charging for the rest of the hunt. It's not like a place where you're like, oh, well, deer usually come from here about this time and they do that and they'll, you know, expect this, expect that. And, you know, sometimes, you know, well, if I haven't seen them by now, they're just not going to see them today. They're not around this area. But hunting somewhere new, and that's the thing about public land, you got access to so many different places. I spent most of last season hunting somewhere new. And out of those 90 different sets that I made on public land, I now know which maybe 10 that I'm going to focus in this year. And same thing, you know, with that mobile setup I'm running, it's like I go into the woods, and there was times I went in intention to hunt and I never climbed a tree because I never saw the sign I was looking for that made me want to stop and set up. I just
Right.
kept looking for that next spot, and where's the spot I want to set up. And you know, a lot of that process is not finding where you want to set up, but also finding where you're wasting your time and where you need to just move on, you know. So there's a lot of places I crossed off the map, and there's a few good places that I'm going to hone in on. And I think that's just how it is. You're kind of ratio set when you're hunting public land or you're going out of state and doing these different things, is, you know, you cover a lot. You hope you get that little bit of intel, that few good spots, and gives you something to go after.
I totally remember you telling me this, you know, in the past couple of years, is like, you know, it's not always about finding the spot where you should be hunting, but finding the spot that you shouldn't be hunting is always an important
Yeah.
thing when scouting. And I think with running a lot of trail cameras, you come to find that out. Like one of those spots that you may think is a really good spot, it might not pan out to be that. But also with that, like we set a lot of cameras now for later, so I don't have to be in those spots. So like right
Yeah.
now, obviously,
Yeah.
like if a branch moves or something, we'll get a picture and it gets annoying. But we know come the end of October, November, when we're going to be in there hardcore, is when we want the camera taking pictures, and we want it to be able to sit there for that long, so that come rut, it's getting the pictures that we want in those areas. Because some of the pictures that you're
Yeah.
getting now might not be
And
the areas that you're going to be hunting.
yeah, and I mean, and that's perfect. We were talking about that. Yeah, they're going to transition. You just kind of want to find out if they're around, and like you're talking about, looking at it on a micro scale is what you're finding now and where you want to be. You know, after you do it for a while, you can take it to the larger macro scale. Like, you know, I just got off the phone with my buddy Keith, Tattooed in the Wild. Shout out, motherfuckers. He's now had data on a few properties for 4 to 5 years. And, you know, he was talking a lot about not spreading himself so thin and trying to cover all these places like he has been. And it's like, well, now he's got the 4 to 5 years data to where he knows not just to focus on a couple properties, but the properties he's focusing on are going to revolve a little bit because he knows what properties to focus on at what time. Because, you know, you get your trail cam, you look at the pictures and you're like, oh man, all last week, these bucks were showing up daylight. Does that help you this week or help you next week? I mean, that's what happened last week. But if you have that happen 3-4 years in a row, you know, you can say, historically, this is where I need to be. These are the 2 properties I need to focus on the pre-rut. These are the 2 properties I need to focus once shit really fires up. Or, you know, he's got a spot where once later in the year, for whatever reason, these fields, this property's at, I'm not sure if it's the equipment they own or what, but they always harvest late. So the late rut, these bucks are trying to pack on the protein. The does have been dogged out by the does. They're feeding. So, you know, he knows late season that's the property to go to. Even if they're not there during the rut, everything else is getting cut and they're going to end up there, you know, and that's all past year's data.
So it's funny that you say this. So we had gone into a new piece of public, and it abuts, or it's adjacent to another piece that we've been hunting for a couple of years. Well, so funny thing is, we end up getting this deer on camera. I don't know if you can see him. See him there in that corner?
There you go.
Yeah. Yep.
So this deer came on camera, and
that's a spy high angle, right?
That's a spy high angle. Yep.
He's walking underneath of the spy high.
Right, and he came underneath, and so it was on a major run on the edge of a cornfield. Well, it's on this time, it's there at 9:30. So we said, well, that deer is not going. He doesn't live close to there, right? So he's coming from somewhere else. So I'm hemming and hawing, and I'm going back and forth, and I'm looking at the picture and shit. I'm like, I've seen that fucking deer before. I've seen that deer before. So I look on there, and I go back on my old trail cam pictures. I had a picture of that deer last year at 3:00 in the morning. And I'm like,
no shit.
Holy shit. I said, that deer literally is going where I had him, was over a mile away on camera around the same time in velvet. And he was a mile away. Well, so we get to the map and we start looking, and I start backing out, and I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. This deer is coming from over a mile, and he's coming down, and he's crossing a river and then going over into a cornfield. I was like, you got to be shitting me.
And if you look, there's probably a little bit of a spur ridge or something, or a drainage.
Exactly. He's going down a fucking drainage.
I doubt he's walking direct line A to B, crossing the river and whatever else. He's probably following some security cover, be it a drainage or whatever else. And yeah, it's crazy.
He's coming off of a mountain through a drainage.
A buck that I killed a couple years ago, after posting pictures on Instagram, a guy hit me up that was like, yo, I got trail cam pictures of your buck. and he had trail cam pictures of the buck I killed in Ohio from about a month before from when I killed it, over 2 miles away.
Wow.
And it's definitely,
Crazy.
without a doubt, it's the same deer. And it's
That's crazy.
all one giant, it's actually like a 4-mile ridge line that was left from like the glaciers. It's just this crazy long ridge line. But that ridge connects where he got the pictures and where I killed him, a month and 2 miles apart.
Hey, before we get too
Crazy.
crazy, man, why don't we I know we went full throttle because you're a full throttle motherfucker, and
Yeah.
we need to take it back one step for everybody who doesn't know who you are. Why don't you explain to everybody who you are, man, where you're from, and what you do?
All right, gotcha. My name is Garret, aka the Modern Assassin. Do my own hunting, filming, editing, run the Kills It podcast.
Zone
Just
pornos.
got to I mean, you got to search deep, but you got to pay a little extra for them.
Is that
too.
the name of
But,
it? Search deep.
The rest of the content's free.
Nice.
It's high quality, not filmed with trail cams. But no, I do all my own filming, all my own editing. I've got a lot into product development over the years, things like that. Just got to film the fucking goat with a bow, the slot master Tim Wells. I got to film him, hang out, be in some of his videos and do that work. And I'm probably actually going to go stay with him for a little bit during deer season and film and do a little bit of editing for him. Dude, he's a bad motherfucker. He is a cool ass dude. So yeah, but that's who I am. That's what I do. I, kind of just raw, real, no bullshit's how I roll. And, it's kind of cut me out of doing a lot of things and sponsors and partnerships and shit, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's also why people trust my opinion and take my word, and I guess listen to what the fuck I have to say.
I love it, dude.
Straightforward.
For all of you that don't know, I steal his quote all the time. Raw, real, no bullshit.
Raw, real, no bullshit, bro.
That's where we get it from.
That's the only way I know, man. Yeah.
So, man, what are you looking forward? What's new for the season for you, bro? I know you're always dabbling in a little bit of everything. You got. I mean, the bow fishing has just been off the hook, off the chain. It's probably kept you kind of bound down to kind of what's going on.
Dude, it's like my entire life is. It's a slightly organized chaos right now. I've got fucking dove decoys on the floor, fucking mojo pieces I'm trying to reassemble of doves.
You're going to have to explain that. Trev doesn't know nothing about doves.
Big feet geese. Bang, 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 just keep popping.
Flying jalapeno poppers.
To your limit, so keep it flying. That's right. And I just got some fresh jalapenos from the garden, harvested ourselves. Is going to be awesome. But I got some big goose decoys out in the yard. I'm spray painting and getting ready. Residents about to come in. I'm about to get my new tree stand in. Going to be running the DeQuisto Series 0.5 and actually saddle hunting from that motherfucker, because I've spent enough time in a tree stand and enough time in a saddle that I know each has their pros and each has what I would call a limitation. And I really think the way Cody and Andre have designed this 0.5, I'm going to be adding 1 pound carry weight from what I was using with that, what Trev calls the beaver tail platform.
You can shape that up
so
here
I'm
now.
Really only. Yeah, I may have a couple other things you're interested too. I spoke to you about another product I'm working on that I'm kind of keeping hush. But then I guess now's a good time to drop the bomb on something too. Trev, I explained to you and talked with you about this being a Connecticut boy. You'll remember an old CT product called the Square Up.
Absolutely, man.
And yeah, and I know you still get to see Nate Scaniff every now and again. And so it's a product that when I met Mike, I tried it. I fucking loved it. I used it, and I still use it. And there was a couple things that I always thought could have been done a little better, but there's nothing that falls in my hands that I'm just like, yeah, it's good the way it is. I always got to fuck with it. I always got to try to make it better. I always got to do something. Like, I cannot just, as soon as I see a problem, I need to fix it or I'm going to think about it. But anyway, Mike ended up selling the licensing of the Square Up to this guy, Ralph, that is the owner and operator of the machine shop that was originally producing the Square Up for Mike. And Ralph and I got together, and with his knowledge in machining, my knowledge in bell hunting and setup, we, I sent Trev some sneak peek pics. We got a completely redesigned bracket that makes it thinner, lighter, stronger, more adjustable, whole lot sexier. And I actually took an idea, and not an idea, but something that I find fucking ingenious and so simple about the EZV site that Aaron Lasco did was uses the same size hardware on everything. Fuck using teeny tiny little Allen key here, and then you need some off size over here, and then some big chunker here. Why? I mean, it's 2020, motherfuckers. You can use the same size hardware. We're on Zoom. You can use the goddamn same size screws. So, that's one of the things we redesigned the brackets. We made it sleeker, sexier, stronger. We made it simpler and added the same size hardware. And so that's a big thing that haven't been doing a whole lot with yet because it's in production right now. But something I'm going to be spending a lot of time in soon is dabbling in that Square Up and bringing it back and getting it to the market, because I really do believe that it doesn't matter what level of shooter you are. I believe the Square Up can improve your shooting. And why are we doing this? We're not, maybe you are. I don't think you are. I'm not doing this to shoot a target. I love shooting my bow, but I'm doing this for when that buck comes by and I'm ready to bleed that fucker out. That's when the Square Up pays off. When you, it's just that little bit of extra insurance and reliability when you're ready to take your shot. And I say this to you all the time, Trev. Nothing kills like confidence. Confidence is the biggest killer,
especially in archery world, man.
No doubt. If you're not confident in your setup, you're not going to perform well.
Absolutely. I mean, and my thing is like, so you waste all of this time in the tree to not be confident with your shit. Like when that all goes down, you have 1 minute to do it and make it happen. And if you're not confident with it, it's not gonna happen. Yeah.
And I know bringing it to market that it's going to be tough because it's a product that in a way was already unaccepted into the market. But I tried to equate it like this, like what is more stereotypically masculine and ego driven and everything more than hunting. MMA, combat sports, is about the only thing you can think of where guys try to be more masculine and ego driven than in the hunting community. And so when you have a new product, there's a lot of guys, whether it works or not, I can shoot my bow. I can fucking shoot a nickel off a Nat's dick at 50 yards every time with a crosswind and my eyes closed. I don't need that. And it's like, yeah, sure you can. And, but it's the same guy that tells you shouldn't shoot 40 yards. And you're like, motherfucker, you shouldn't be shooting 10. Like, but so it's hard to get people to try new things. But, I think anyone that really has the goal of bleeding out a big buck or any deer or any animal you're pursuing, if that's your actual goal, I think you're foolish not to try something new and see if it works for you.
Absolutely. I mean, as far as there's so many other anchors out there, or things that would make your your shooting ability better. I mean, there's the obviously why we're talking about is the square up, but then you have, you know, like Bomar's nose,
The nose
The nose
button.
button.
the nose
Yeah.
button, the you
The
know
steady form.
the steady form.
Yep, steady
I mean,
form, shoot a steady form too. You know, I've tried about everything, and
the
some
kisser.
things stay on and some things don't.
You got to try it and see what works. I mean, and a lot of these things are advantages. Why would you not have something that, like, in that heat of that moment when the adrenaline's going, that makes and guarantees you to be in your right form?
Well, and here's the other thing too. Why are there multiple sight companies on the market? And why is it that each of these companies produces multiple sights? If there was one thing that's right and is the best, you wouldn't need multiple companies, and the companies wouldn't produce multiple products. It's all opinion. It's all comfort. It's all confidence. What you see best, I may not see best. You may pick up a bow and be like, God damn, this thing feels good in my hand. And I may be like, yeah, I don't like this. I mean, that's the reason. So don't, my whole thing is, you don't ever want to just listen to what one person says. Like, you want to go try everything. It's saying, what's the best bow for me to buy? I don't know. Go
One
into a
that
bow
shoots
shop
best
and
for
put
you.
your hands on every one you can. Exactly. Go put your hands on every one you can and see which one feels best. That's the best bow to buy. You know, and then you got a lot of influencers in this world and this industry that are telling people what to do that don't know anything about what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I've seen people go into long rants about mechanical broadheads and shit and how they only shoot fixed, and it's like they shot one deer with the mechanical, and it's like, you tried one mechanical one time, but you're an expert on it now. Like, maybe you have very good information from your experience that time, be it positive or negative, but you can't sit here and make these claims that you know what the fuck's going on. Whatever.
I mean,
It's a
we all
lot of
have our
talk.
opinion. No. We all have our opinion on, you know, what works best, but that's not saying that it is the best. You know, you have to make those, you have to fail to know that you're going to succeed, I guess, is more or less.
Well, that's the only way anything improves. I mean,
Right.
if throwing a spear didn't fail sometimes, the longbow would have never been made.
What about the
You
atlatl,
know,
though?
if the longbow wasn't too big, and bro, just try to kill a turkey with one.
In Mexico?
You think so?
Yeah, Osceola. I heard they walk around with their fans on backwards. Is that true?
So we hear.
Uh, yeah,
I
funny.
don't
But
know.
anyways, but they improved the spear with an atlatl is where I was going.
But true, but you know what I'm saying? And then you reach a limitation, and that's what drives improvements, you
That's
know?
right.
Yeah, and it's all for what? Making shit bleed. I
That's
mean,
right.
it's all, how do I make this thing bleed out faster?
With a Zeus.
Cut the Zeus loose. I'll be shooting Zeus's this year.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
I think I'm going to shoot the Aries this
really?
year.
Why one over the other?
I think so. After shooting a few deer last year with the Zeus and really kind of doing my own autopsies and everything, I was finding that sometimes it seemed like the blades were really barely even cutting. You would see where the blades slice the hide and everything, but the way that tip kind of hydrofoils and folds material out, the tip, it was doing most of the damage, leading the way, and sometimes it seemed like it opened up a channel as if a 20 gauge slug went through it, and the blades were barely cutting. And I do not at all personally believe that is due to the collapse of the ZUES. Not that they fold flat, but you know how they come into that compressed, energy-saving second fixed position. I don't believe that's the reason I was seeing the lack of the blade sometimes. I just think that tip does so much damage. So in my opinion, why have anything mechanical in it when I feel the tip is doing all the damage? I like the idea of the full fixed, and I like the idea of the single bevel, to be honest. So yeah, I think I'm going to give the Aries a shot this year because the leading tip is just devastating, and then the sharpness at which the quality of the steel too. That's another big difference. The quality of the steel in the blades that Nick uses, and then the sharpness that they get from them. I personally think my bow is shooting with enough kinetic energy where I don't need the ZUES to collapse and save energy for me.
I'm with you 100%. I actually did the same thing. I shot the old ones last year. They were great, loved them, but for the exact same reasons, which with exclusion to the blades not cutting, I never really took that into consideration because of that hole that the tip makes. I switched over to the Aries as well. So
gotcha.
I just kind of
I haven't picked any up. I still have plenty of ZUES, but I'm gonna be getting hold of Nikki and getting some Aries down here.
So I went and grabbed the ZUES out of the bow room, and I just wanted to show everybody kind of like what sexy. That tip looks like. As far as, I mean, the damage that this thing does is devastating, and I saw it a lot. Where I started to realize all of it was in the turkeys, and how it literally looks like they got shot with a 300 short mag, like the concussion and the gelatin that's made from it is insane.
The amount of air that enters the body cavity from the holes that they leave, it is insane how coagulated they get, like how quickly they coagulate up. It's insane. But what really, I think, gave me the best visual understanding of how that tip works, and I'm talking about just that tip, not the entire broadhead, but just that tip, was I saw one, it was shot through plywood into the side of a metal drum, and then it protruded the drum, just the tip penetrated the outside of the drum. And what it did is it sliced and rolled all that material out to where it was sticking out of the drum, it looked the same way a good rifle or handgun projectile round mushrooms and flowers. Like if you were to stick the tip of that ZUES into the tip of a rifle round and push down, it's going to make that rifle round flower and extrude and roll out. And that, I believe that's what it does to bone and material. It channels it out and away, and it's just fucking devastating.
And for a lot of people that don't know, with the ZUES is a complete fixed head. So this is how it comes. This is how it shoots. Well, when it contacts with bone at 48 pounds of pressure, hold on, let me turn up the lights here so you can really see. Give me 2 seconds.
You got the clapper?
No. Clap on, clap off.
Oh, fuck. My bad.
The clap?
No. It's all ran by my phone. 2 seconds. All right. So when this contacts bone at 48 pounds of pressure, these shift back, and they go down to 7/8 of an inch. See how it goes back to 7/8 of an inch when it goes through bone, and then when it stops and gets through bone, they slap backwards, forwards, and they keep moving forward. So it's pretty crazy how it's made, and it has this giant 30-06 round on the front of it. Is literally, I mean, that's what I call it. You know what I'm saying? I call it my little.
That's the 100 grain. Mag. You got a 125 close by?
No, I don't. I didn't think that you needed a 125 with the ZUES. It's nuts. You got one there, Steven?
All right, you were just showing the 100 grain.
So hold on
That's
one
the
second.
125.
So before everybody, so that everybody kind of understands what we got going on here, this is our first ever video podcast. So if you guys haven't already, if you guys aren't watching this on the YouTube side, you can see what we're actually showing on the YouTube side. So all you got to do is get out of whatever you're listening to, go to YouTube, the Outdoor Drive podcast, and you will see this episode with the Modern Assassin. You can kind of see what we're actually talking about if you guys want to dig in a little bit deeper what's going on.
And while you're there, subscribe, fuckers.
Yeah, that's right. Make sure to subscribe.
Because G said so.
So show them what's up with the 125 head. It's insane.
You were
Look at
talking
the
about
difference.
that one was like a 30-06. Oh, this is like a fucking 45-70 then, if that's a 30-06.
Exactly.
Look at the difference in the head. And then Steve had an Aries over there kicking around with a 125 up front. So that's their. That's
and then
Zeus's.
I got one of these sexy sons of bitches too.
Oh, buddy, the heavy metal.
So
The
explain that a
200
little
grain heavy metal.
Yeah.
This
No
is
joke.
just 200 grains of fuck you and what's in front of you and behind you.
Right?
It's cutting through it all.
You shoot near it, it's gonna kill it.
Look at that nasty bitch.
There it is.
And the difference, the heavy metal is a steel ferrule, and the Zeus in the 100 and 125 is an aluminum ferrule. So
Yep.
Dangerous shit, man. They really honestly are. And then the Aries is their fixed head. They make that in the 100, 125, 175, and 200 also. So that comes in the regular Aries and then the heavy metal Aries. So
I tell you, broadheads has always been a thing that I've always kind of been like somewhat obsessed with. Trying different broadheads, seeing how different broadheads work, what they do. The real test of a broadhead is a bad shot, though. You got to keep that in mind. If you make a perfect shot, it doesn't really matter. I mean, a field tip's going to kill a deer with a perfect shot. It's not ethical, but that's not my point either. The point is a broadhead operates. A test of a broadhead is when something goes wrong or is less than ideal than a perfect shot. And I had finally found a broadhead I was comfortable with and liked a lot after a lot of years, and that was the Slick Trick Viper Tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I liked them a lot. And then when Nick came out with these, I've been friends with Nick for years. He's got a lot of good products, does a lot of good shit, and it's just a good dude. I straight up told him, I said, yeah, I'll try them. I want to check them out. I'll let you, give you my feedback and everything else. But I said, if I have any problems at all, I'm going back to Slick Tricks. Like, I'm not going to use something that I feel is inferior in any way because of confidence. If I felt like this wasn't doing the best of what I could have on the front of my arrow, it wouldn't be there. Just put it that way.
Absolutely. And a lot of these things, so with it being and having where it collapses down to 7/8 of an inch, it's only when it calls for it. When there's failure in hitting bone, it stays at the 1.5 inches unless there is a failure.
Flesh and tissue and organ, it's not going to cause more than that 48 to 50 pounds of resistance to collapse the blades.
Mm-hmm.
Those blades are so sharp, it's going to be slicing through shit with 48 pounds of pressure behind it. Like you said, it's when you hit that bone, even through the scapula. I shot right through the scapula, the thin part of the scapula. I'm not saying through a shoulder bone,
right?
Just for people to clarify, to where it didn't look like it collapsed. I don't think it needed to. It was sharp enough, and the tip extruded enough material from out of the way that the blades didn't really need to collapse. So it's when, like you said, he hit heavier bone, or I think it's probably really good for anyone in that 50-pound range or a little bit lower draw weight than that, 55 or anything lower. And you know, and my opinion on this may change, but I think anything over that, I think you're probably all right with the Aries, unless it's a worst case scenario. But I think with the kinetic energy, the arrows that I have built, and the way my bow's tuned and shooting, I think I'm confident with what the Aries will do. I'm confident that my arrow is going to go through whatever I put it at. Put it that way.
Right.
It's crazy how I actually took this buck over my shoulder here. That deer was quartering to me. That was a shot I normally would never take, and I was nervous. And it was the only shot opportunity I had. The deer had already walked by me once and then came back again. And I mean, I think I called you, Garrett, too.
Yeah,
I was freaking out, man. I'm like,
yeah, you said
don't know
fuck
what I
the
did.
footage and everything. He went by once, he ain't going by again.
no, and it was the only shot opportunity I had, and I just was like, I'm just gonna put it on his shoulder, a little bit forward on his shoulder, and just let it rip, quarter in two. And I was a little nervous, and everyone I talked to was like, "What broadhead you have in front?" And I'm like, "I had a Zeus." They're like, "I don't know what you're worried about." And I got down, and it was a heart punch. I mean, it was lights out. It was stupid, but it's crazy. And so it went in one side, and then it came out the shoulder of the other side, like through the shoulder. Like, no, it was buried. The only thing that held on for about 15 feet was the actual knock. The knock was stuck in the bone, and it was kind of on a level. And then when it had hit a branch, it had fallen out.
Yeah, I always say if you come out the armpit, you're going through something vital. Except for like a straight on shot, you know, if you hit here and come out this armpit, you're not really crossing vital. But anything broadside or even quartering to or quartering away, if you can come out that armpit. So I mean, a lot of times I kind of didn't even realize I was doing this. I don't necessarily pick a spot on the deer on the outside of the deer, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not looking like
you're shooting for the exit.
I want to, you know, a lot of people say they're picking a hair, you know, and I used to think that, but no, I'm more looking, where do I think just below that shoulder and above that elbow is on the opposite side?
Right.
Because I want to go through vital shit and I want to break that fucking leg on the other side, because sure, I can track, but I'd rather not have to. If I can punch vital and break a leg, that's what I want, you know? So I'm always trying to come out that armpit on almost every shot angle, except, you know, a hard quarter two or a dead on shot. And I have actually shot a buck from just about dead straight on. And it's the only deer that I killed in an upward angle. You know, everything, you know, I've shot some from the ground, but mostly from a tree stand. This one was actually at an upward angle as I was going in the morning, and he was on a ridge slightly above me. And he ended up, after I grunted at him, he came down straight at me to where I put it directly in the middle of his chest. It went through his heart, came out right out of his stomach, went in his back leg right by his nutsack, and then blew all the way out his back leg too. Like, it was a 100% full body pass through on that buck, aiming straight forward at me. But now I could only do that being at ground level, and actually like an underneath level to where I have more of the chest. I couldn't have made that shot from a tree stand, you know? You'd have the neck, you'd have the head, you'd have the rack, you'd have the shoulders, all that in the way. But from a dead on ground level and even upward, I mean, I got all chest to punch.
That's insane.
That was cool. And I remember too, I was at full draw, and this deer stepped out, and I was at full draw, and I was locked on right where, you know, imagining where his heart is inside of him. And I was like, fuck, I don't have this on film. I don't have any cameras running. I don't have this on film. I'm going to punch. I haven't killed a deer not on film in a long fucking time. especially a buck. I haven't killed, like, I've let a lot of deer go that should be on my wall because I couldn't get the camera shit right and everything. And literally, as I was at full draw, putting that easy V wear on his heart, I literally just said to myself, this one's for me. And I just don't let it fucking rip. And I tell you what, it was fucked up too because, like I said, I'm on the ground, so I can see everything. I know what's going on. This deer runs about 40 yards and stops. And he's facing away from me, and he starts
doing the death
doing
wobble.
this shit. You know what I mean? And I'm just sitting there like, oh, yeah, he's fucking going down. And, I mean, this is within, like, seconds, 2-3 seconds. He's gone 2 seconds. He's gone 40 yards, and he's stopped, and he's already wobbling. I reach in my pocket and I start pulling out my phone already. I'm like, I'm hitting up my boy. I'm hitting up Ryan and Keith, telling them I just punched my tag. He's sitting there doing the death wobble as I'm pulling my phone out. I look up at him and he puts his legs back up underneath of him, stands up straight, lifts his head up, starts getting his shit back together. I'm like, no, motherfucker, what are you doing? Like, no. And then he just fucking did the side flop, fell over. But yeah, dude, he started getting his shit back together. I'm like, what? Like, go down.
Jesus Christ. They're amazing.
But yeah,
animals.
that's the first deer I've killed not on film in probably close to 15 years, man.
Nice.
Yeah. I can't even tell you how many deer I have getting, deflated. In my computer. I just keep working on all these fucking projects. You ask me who am I, what do I do? I'm a fucking madman that wants to be out in the woods, is trapped in a cage and working and has to pay bills. And all I do is work every moment I've got at this shit that I love to do. So hopefully one day that's the only thing I'm doing with work. And then I'll have time to take all that fucking kick-ass footage and old shit and everything else and edit and put it out. That's who I am. That's what I do.
Didn't you just do some kick-ass footage for somebody recently?
Yeah, Tim Wells, man.
Why don't you explain that a little bit, what the bow fishing season has been for you, bro? Because it's been, like, insane. Fucking insane.
That's again, mildly controlled chaos.
Started from the beginning,
dude,
that people
ever
that don't
since
know.
Captain Nick. Yeah. So a guy that kind of local to me, I took out bow fishing, ended up becoming a great friend, and you now know him, Captain Nick Mather. I took him out bow fishing, and I mean, he was a insane fisherman. Like, didn't matter what species, where it was, he could catch it. He was a really good fisherman. Put a bow in his hand, and now he's got $10,000 worth of regular fishing tackle. It just fucking sits there. He got addicted. He went all out and decided he was going to build a boat. And the more we kept planning and designing this boat, the just bigger and more badass it kept getting. And now, it's one of the baddest boats on the fucking East Coast or found anywhere as far as bow fishing goes. He's got a fucking mud motor kicker rig on it. I mean, we go places where you should not be able to go to shoot shit. And, the thing is, the reason working class outdoorsman is where it is because I was obsessive about shit. I got Nick into it. Nick is obsessive about shit. We put our knowledge together. We don't hold shit back from each other. We share what we know. And one of us, if not both of us, is out there almost every night and figuring it out and seeing what the difference is. Nick just had a guy hit him up. He's like, I don't understand. He was like, how are you one step ahead of everyone? On everything, we're one step ahead. Like, we're killing the fish right before everyone else knows they're there. And it's like, because we know what to look for, where to go. And I mean, I've said before, we're hunting these fish. It's not, we're not going out and just if we see them, we see them. We're going specific places for specific reasons, for specific species at specific times. We are detailed hunting these fish. So that being said, now that he's got the boat put together and all, we've been getting some insane footage, some insane pictures, lots of happy
guests.
clients, insane guests, you know, lots of happy clients. And that led to, you know, now we're working with Megamouth Bow Fishing. You know, we've been pro staff for them and fucking killing it. I mean, Nick's got a couple state records with the Megamouths and everything this year, and on the Working Class Outdoorsman boat, like clients shooting these records, not us. And at ATA, well, I was with you, Trav, at ATA, and I'm like, I just met the fucking man. I'm happy. I was like, I just got to fucking sit and talk with Tim Wells and show him some boat fishing shit and everything. And, you know, I've idolized Tim Wells forever, and it's kind of crazy. I went from, when I was in college, I was VHS recording in a VCR. Y'all can Google that if you don't know what the fuck it is. VCR. I was VHS recording Tim Wells' Relentless Pursuit show on TV and shit while I was in college class. And here I am a couple weeks ago, I'm sitting behind the camera filming for Tim Wells and his show. It was kind of a fucking surreal moment to go from, you know, watching him on TV and always thinking he's the man, and then wanting to get into filming and everything. And I don't know if you've watched one or both of the episodes out yet, but the footage is fucking insane. Like all the underwater footage and everything. Like I got all that. It was kind of funny. The first night Tim had me film, his cameraman had to leave. His cameraman was there one night, and I think it was something family related. He ended up having to leave. So after the first night, his cameraman left. And, you know, the second night, Tim was like, Nick said, you can film and run a camera. And, you know, he had seen a couple of my clips and highlights I showed him. And he said, here you go. Hands me this like $5,000 fucking camera. And he was kind of anal about it at first. And that's not the right word. He wasn't anal. He knew what he wanted, and he's there to film a show. So he was more, I'll say, directive than saying he was anal. He was more directive, saying, well, get over here and get this shot, and let's do this and get that and get this. And, you know, we had, I think it was just a giant fish come out of nowhere or something, and, you know, got it all on film, captured it, and then, you know, he pulled it in and did his little talk and everything. And after I shut the camera off, he was like, did you get that? I was like, yeah, I got it. Was it any good? I'm like, it's worth every penny you've paid me so far, which wasn't fuck all. So, but I told him, I said, by the end of this, though, I said, you're not only going to want to pay me, you're going to want to hire me. And he went home after that first night of me running the cameras for him, and he reviewed the footage and all. And when we got back on the boat the second day, he just handed me the camera bags and said, here you go. You're photography director tonight. If there's a shot you want to get, you get it. If there's angles you want to get, you get it. And I tell you what, to me, that was the most badass thing. Going back and watching the videos and the episodes that he put together was not just the awesome badass footage and being in it and hearing me talking and seeing me in it, but to see that Tim Wells, someone I've idolized forever, and I think has some of the most amazing, captivating content out there, how many of the B-roll shots and just cool angles and little things that I did to capture that was not under his direction at all that he used. He used a ton of stuff that I just thought would look really cool. And then the way he plugged it in and edited it, it did look really cool. And that was probably the most badass thing to me was I added a lot of my own personal touch into his film by me being behind the camera, if that makes sense.
Right.
So cool. So what are you doing with him in the future?
Well, he's invited me to travel with him to some different places. He's actually asked me to come out and stay on the farm with him in Illinois and chase down Big Louie. You know, as I've got a fuck ton of my own prior commitments, I can't do like a whole deer season or whatever. But I was just talking to him. He's about to jet out to, I believe it's Colorado for September elk. Don't quote me on it's Colorado, but he's getting ready to go away for September elk. And I told him, you know, when he gets back, we're going to get in touch, and I'm basically going to say, all right, what 2 weeks you want me out there? And,
That's bad.
you know, maybe it'll work out where I stay out longer. But, you know, I work for a family business, and I have things that, you know, responsibilities there that I have to take care of. I got a dog. I've got a lot of my own business things going. But
You mean you
Tim's
can't
the
just pick
fucking
up and
man,
leave?
and he.
I thought you were the
I mean,
gypsy
he's the
soul, man.
He told me, he's like, he's like, you can stay with me. I got your food. I got your place to live. He's gonna pay me a little bit for my services as the cameraman and all. And he's like, and we'll allocate the resources I have to using to growing myself and my brand and stuff like that as well. And I tell you, Tim is he is smart in the product industry and all as well, as far as not just the people he works with, but how he markets and puts out his own product. And just spending as much time with him as I did, because while he was here bow fishing, you know, if nothing was going on, we're out to lunch together. We got fucking hundreds of pounds of fish to clean every day too. We don't just shoot them, you know, we got to clean all them bastards and freeze them and everything else. So, you know, got to spend a lot of time with the guy. And I will say he is one of the most legit that I have met in the outdoor industry. He is very much, you see what you get. He has always been a big influence of mine in the fact that if you have real content and you're doing cool shit, sure, you're going to have some people that may not agree with what you're doing or may not like you, but the man is real. What you see is what you get. And, you know, to me, that was pretty fucking awesome, because I don't think there's anything really worse than meeting like an idol and finding out they're just a white lie or a fake personality. And I mean, Tim is not that at all. So it's pretty fucking badass.
Been there.
Yeah.
It sucks, dude.
You gonna shave that
Meeting
beard?
your idol and they're complete douchebags.
Yeah, you gonna shave that beard?
Exactly, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying to cut my fucking beard. Got an outdoor show. Oh, I want to punch that guy right in the mouth, but we'll leave that one alone because that's a rabbit hole you do not want to go into.
Maybe you will one day.
Yeah, maybe. I got to be somebody before I do that one, though.
Good shit.
Who else have you had on the boat with you, man?
We just had, you know, I had Keith and Steph from Tattooed in the Wild down.
Yep.
We just had the guys from Time's Up Outdoors.
They did come. Okay,
you know,
cool.
Zig and the boys from Time's Up in the Detroit Fire Department. Yeah, they recorded for their Carbon series. And dude, they got some fucking dope footage. They shot the most fish of anyone on the boat yet. I think it was 126 or 127 fish that night. Yeah, it was somewhere. It was just sub 130. I'll just say that. It was right there about 130. And it was pretty cool. They actually got the footage of me killing that white catfish, that
was bad.
that piebald catfish with the pink fins. Yeah. Actually, I can't even remember right now who was filming it. I think it might have been Nico that had the camera at the time, and we were the only ones in the front of the boat. Everyone else was taking other fish off or whatever. And I don't know what I saw, But whatever I saw, he saw the same thing. I don't know if I thought that white fish was just a catfish's belly or what, but for some reason, I thought I saw a fucking 4-foot like monster. Like I thought I just saw this giant hammer, and we were both just yelling like, "There's a fucking huge one!" And Nick's like, "Where?" I was like, "Just gun it forward and cut it." And he did. He just jumped us up forward, threw it back in neutral, and I took a long shot at about, long for bow fishing, probably close to 10 yards, and I shot it right through the fucking face, and it ripped right off. And as it went swimming by, Nick was like, hold on, I just saw a white one. And it was like, once I shot it and fought it just for a second, myself and the cameraman saw, oh, it's a white catfish, not like the belly of a catfish hiding in the weeds or whatever. And it took off, and Nick spun the boat around, and we just kind of watched exactly where it was going, and he drifted up, and we're looking, and then I looked straight down, and that catfish had gone down and was laying on the bottom in about a foot of weeds, and I could just see a little bit of its back. And he was about 5 foot deep. And so instead of trying to head shoot him like I did the first time, I gave it a full draw, and I buried that arrow in right next to his dorsal fin where there's a ton of bone, ton of meat, and I knew I wasn't losing him after that. But, the boys got it all on film, so you'll be able to see all that on Carbon TV and everything. Yeah, man, it was good shit. It was a lot of fun. Been having a lot of just – and, dude, I'm talking about guests that people may know, through their – Tim Wells and the guys through Carbon TV and stuff like that. But man, we have met so many fucking cool people just coming out to fish with us. Like,
you had the
we've
whitetail,
really been having a blast.
Whitetail Distraction Boys. You had Lift to Hunt,
Whitetail Distraction,
Mr. and Mrs.
Jeremy and Alicia.
Yep. Yeah. It's been a blast. We put them on some giant blues.
Killed it.
Oh yeah. And it was different for them. They're used to, shooting carp and stuff like that. And it's, these blues, whatever, fuck it. Some people may learn some shit here and actually start killing some of them, because there'll be 6 boats deep out there, and we're killing giant blues, and everybody's got a bunch of dink channels. You can't hunt these blues like you do normal fish. And Jeremy and Alicia found that out, Lift to Hunt when they came out, that it ain't like shooting carp. These catfish do not like the light. They are moving when the tide is ripping. And they're in shallow water. So you got them trapped in shallow water, rolling up with a bright light. They fucking hate that shit. You are not looking down to see fish. We are moving fast, and you're going to see that fish out at the edge, the halo of the light, and it's going to come across you or within shooting range, and you're going to have 2 to 3 seconds to draw back, make your decision, your adjustments for depth, let it rip, and then it's gone. It's out the light again. If you're just slow cruising, hunting like we did, Trev, when we were shooting snakeheads and carp and all, you're not going to get the blues like that. You just don't fish them the same way. So they found out it's a different. To me, shooting blues like that almost reminds me of shooting stingrays, because you're going fast, you're chasing shit down. When you get into them, it gets fucking crazy. They're big, they're strong, they're powerful, they make a fucking mess. It reminds me of shooting rays without having to go down the bay and chase rays.
Right.
That's badass, though.
Yeah, I tell you, one of the biggest differences that, hands down, has made a huge difference on that boat, the success of it, the fun of it, and just the overall success is the Mega Mouth bow fishing reels.
So I got a question, man. Do you have any button does on camera for this season?
I'm not sure if it's a button doe or just a 1-year-old. It's a big boy. We'll just say it's a big boy.
So he may be a 2-year-old.
That's big boy. I mean, if I want to go for film and I want to go for bone, I'll shoot that one so I get neither.
Oh man, some of you may understand or may not understand what was just said.
Shut up.
I thought it was shh, don't tell anybody.
I thought he was going to hide under his poncho or something. I wasn't sure what he was doing.
So, it's been crazy. We haven't had the blessing of being able to talk about what's kind of on our minds. It's been released on other podcasts, and we've talked about it with other people, but it hasn't been me and G in one place at one time to have a conversation.
I'm fucking cut loose.
No.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
you,
I guess
you were involved from the get-go of this whole fucking
G was.
fiasco.
Oh.
I mean, even with us. So I think you do your time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Trev, why don't you go ahead and preface it for people that maybe don't know who or what you're talking about.
I needed to grab a water for this one so I can.
May need to grab a beer or two.
Yeah, I guess so. I quit drinking, so.
Did you?
Yeah.
Y'all
Crazy.
that should be
Looking good, bro.
Too much Shabine, but yeah, anyways.
Are you saying you had a Shabine butt?
No.
Yeah, so Trev, why don't you go ahead and kind of lead off about it, and then
No, fuck that. Garrett can
I'll
lead
just
off
do your
about
thing.
that. Garrett can lead off.
Well, okay, so East Coast Bow Hunting Podcast. You know, that's kind of where it all. Well, actually, it was, I guess, prior to that even.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the story of the derelict D-rate came into the hunting industry, you know, it's weird because I've said this before, but I don't know. I had kind of a weird thing, and that's why I never committed to anything, and that's why I did not join East Coast Bow Hunting Podcast, and like I just kind of stayed separate. As I could tell, there was some weird shit, but you know, that manipulative motherfucker was just that manipulative, and he would use leverage of saying one person was saying this or doing that to you know, like for instance, if I want Trev to do something with me, I'd be like, hey Trev, you know, I talked to Steven and he thinks it's a great idea we do this and he wants you on board and whatever. And meanwhile, Steven has no idea, and I call Steven, hey Steven, I got this idea. Trev says that blah
Right.
blah blah, you should be doing like you know, creating situations and scenarios and working with people and things that just weren't fucking true. I mean, just bottom line, just were not true. And you know, and I'm not trying to throw anybody out there. He fooled a lot of us, you know, with his bullshit. He fooled a lot of people. And you guys, now that you know me, you know, like, even though I guess I am kind of involved in the hunting industry, also how removed I am from shit, and I just kind of fucking do my own thing all the time. And so when he had sent me some messages and shit, but I never knew who he was or anything, and then I kind of saw where he had been, you know, just ass grabbing on working class and trying to tange to them, but you know, those boys had accepted him and everything, and you know, and he fooled a lot of us, and he put himself into a lot of places and a lot of situations, and he created a lot of situations and false relationships and things like that as well. But I mean, well, Trev knows I would call him out on bullshit a lot, and sometimes, you know, he would have excuses, and other times it was, I don't know, bullshit. Like, but the best was his birthday. at working class, the WCB shoot, where Trev and I are. I got like fucking dehydrated during the shoot, and I just wasn't feeling great, so I didn't drink. I wasn't drinking, and Trev wasn't really drinking. Fucking D-Rock's drinking Shabine and fucking whatever that tequila and everything else was.
Yeah, because we were supposed to go back to Gene Miller's place, but we ended up getting. He was supposed to drive.
Well, then he kept telling us about how hammered you and I are. He just kept sitting there talking about like trying to get. I'm like, no, D-Rock, I haven't drank in like 9 hours. Like I had a beer with lunch at like noon. It's like, right. It's now 10 o'clock. Like I haven't been drinking all day, and nah, you're trash, bro. He's trying to convince me and you that we are trashed, right, and that he's not. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. There was a lot of shit
that was the same night that he
we
told.
Could go on about it forever.
That was the same night he was so drunk that he told Eric Hammond that the podcast made $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
Funny shit.
Sure. I believe
anyways.
it. Yeah.
Maybe in drug money.
I'm sure Eric Hammond is not the only one that he told that either. I'm sure there was a lot of other bullshit.
It was that night that he had said that.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just some things, or like Bow and Bridle.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, blows up his bow.
I was gonna say that story has never been told.
Shit can happen.
Did he blow up his bow, or did he mess up his necklace?
So say, when you got a fucking 4-pound camera that's the size of his fucking 4-pack of Shabine he's got hiding under his poncho, hanging from your fucking necklace like it's a tassel of a sombrero, and you're drawing back your bow, shit's gonna fucking happen. Like, every hunter knows you don't have something hanging, every bow hunter, something that's gonna hang and interfere with your string and this and that. And I don't know if you say you're new and you've never done that, or you haven't had the camera and all that. That's fine. That's believable. But you're not going to tell me that you've killed 30 turkeys with a fucking bow and you don't know not to have something hanging in your bowstring. I don't care how many button does you've bled out. You just fucking know, dude. You know what I mean? There's like just some things that are common sense. Or actually, I told him not to post this as a friend. I don't know if you remember the one he admitted was a buck, the button buck, not the button doe, but the first one. The first of the 3 one-year-old bucks that he killed.
Yeah.
So the first one, he's in the saddle and he draws back. I can see him looking at the deer on, like, if this coffee cup's my tree, I can see him looking at the deer this way, and he draws back on the other side, and then while at full draw is leaning way back in the saddle, goes all the way up over the tree in the sky like this, to then come around the other side of the tree and aim and shoot a button buck. And I almost said button duck. And shoots this button buck. And I'm like, what the fuck were you doing, dude? I'm like, one, you're lucky you didn't do something a little weird and just rip your shoulder out. Or you're lucky you just didn't send a fucking an arrow up and kill a button eagle. I mean, it's like, what the fuck were you thinking? And he was like, oh, well, I had to use the tree to hide my movement, bro. That's the point of the saddle. Use the tree to hide. And I'm like, you cannot tell me that moving this way and drawing like that is more movement than fucking, I mean, you put in less effort climbing the fucking border fence than you did in that draw.
This is true statement.
Oh,
Now I'm getting on a rant.
the recreation alone was worth it.
Oh. But it was a million and one things that happened constantly.
It
You know,
was
like
one thing after another.
oh, and it was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, and then he would kind of like almost make you believe like he knew what the fuck he was doing, but and then you get in the woods and he didn't have a fucking clue.
Well, one thing he did very well was he kept you and I apart.
Right.
He constantly was putting you down and saying you weren't putting in effort and saying you weren't doing this and you weren't doing that. And, you know, you're not finding gas, you're doing, you know, and you and I just kind of didn't talk that much because, you know, I have a hard work ethic to where I'm doing shit all the time. And I don't always have time to keep up and catch up with people. And you and I hadn't really known each other to hang out yet and everything. We had met, but, you know, we didn't hang out like that. And I'm sure he was feeding you shit about me too, saying I was probably saying shit about you because, you know, just so we're not communicating to find out that he's full of shit. Okay, perfect example. I don't know about this place, but you had a property that you were only allowed to hunt till noon.
Right.
Am I correct in that?
Yeah.
Or you were only allowed? Okay.
By
and
the
he
owners.
went back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he went back in there to hunt it in the afternoon and without you. And you found out or whatever, and he wasn't supposed to be there. Well, how I found out about this whole thing was he told me he had left his platform and camera arm in there for you to go set up and hunt because he picked out a good spot for you, and that way you didn't have to take the platform in and you didn't have to set up the camera arm and everything, and it was already all done. And then you decided you weren't going hunting. Yeah, I'm sure. Then you decided you weren't going hunting because you were being fucking lazy or whatever the fuck you're doing. So he went in there to go get it out himself. And he said while he climbed up the tree, he was like, well, I figure if I wasn't hunting, I would stay and observe and have a better idea. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, I don't. If I'm not hunting the spot, I'm not in the fucking spot. Why am I going to hang in a fucking tree without my bow to see if something comes by? Like, but he basically is like, Trev is always just trying to catch me doing something wrong and talk shit and blah, blah, blah. And he was basically saying it like, I guess thinking maybe you were going to say something to me about him hunting illegal or being there when he shouldn't. And he basically got a hold of me first to make up a whole different story.
It's so funny is it's how sad that he's like tried to separate all of us. Like he did the same thing with Drew from Wild Edge. Like he would say on how like his family doesn't like me because I'm rough around the edges and they don't want me around the house because they have kids and this and that and I'm no good and this and that and like really honestly like made this huge persona.
They know you're just a big burly dummy and you're harmless.
I'm saying, dude, and like me and Drew are like really close friends. You know what I'm saying? And like he would like make it worse and like start fights. Look at, for example, my best friend, Ryan the porn star. We're no longer friends. We no longer talk. And it's all because of D-Rock, in my opinion. I think that there's a lot of shit there that's because
probably.
of him.
Yeah. I mean, and me and Drew, you know, Drew and I have been friends a long time. And we worked on some things together. We just kind of supported each other for a long time. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he didn't like D-Rock. Neither did his family, everything else. But what D-Rock was telling me how things were going down and what he was saying that Drew was saying and doing is not at all what Drew was actually saying and doing. And it kind of, in a way, put a rift between Drew and I. Yep. And, you know, we had some differences working on some other things together and everything. And, you know, and I'm not going to get into personal shit, but you know, there was a moment there where Drew and I weren't really talking. We weren't really friends. And, you know, shit got pretty deep. And, yeah, we worked shit out, you know, even though it would have been easiest to just part ways and shit. Like, I always liked Drew. I cared about Drew. I see a lot of Drew in some of the younger me. And, you know, so we hash shit out, and you know, there's just certain things, kind of a bond between Drew and I, that even D-Rock wasn't able to break through all his bullshit.
It's crazy on how many things, and you know, even the separation with Kurt from Working Class. I mean, some of the shit that he said about him, and kind of trying to separate us from them, and you know, like building relationships but knocking them apart. Like, I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
the same that, you know, D-Rock always told me that he's like, you know, Kurt's not going to do another podcast with you because you're on our show a lot now, and our ratings are equal to theirs. And he's kind of upset that, like, you're on our show, and so he's not going to, because I actually said, I'm like, oh, I need to get a hold of Kurt again. We keep saying we're going to do another podcast, and never say, oh, he's like, well, I hate to break it to you, bro, but that's not by accident. Kurt's not going to do another one with you. East Coast is getting too big now that we're getting equal, and blah, 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 and we're having some of the guests first. He's just getting upset. So,
that's because you're
and I
stealing
talked to
them.
Kurt. You know, Kurt and I have always been pretty straightforward, even if we maybe don't see eye to eye on shit or something else or whatever it is. Or, you know, he did a thing on his podcast where he was talking about people going like this for pictures. And I had people hit me up like, yo, what's up with Kurt? Why is he backhand talking shit about you with this and that? And I'm like, really? Is he? I'm like, that's shit. I got to go fucking hear this. And I fucking listened to him like, no, that's not what he's saying. Like, I don't feel like he's talking shit about me at all.
No.
People like people like drama.
Oh yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. And D-Rape was the biggest drama queen of them all.
Hey, but you
So
know what?
you guys on any of the podcasts actually said, fully put out, like, what went down, what happened, like, I mean, I'm not saying give details of the story, but I mean,
oh yeah, no, that there's allegations.
He's a rapist.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
rapist. He's allegations against
yeah.
him. Correct. And he was on probation
And not
for
just one allegation. Yeah, he was on probation. He's going to court, been arrested for one, and then there's another one, completely separate incident being processed. And I tell you what pissed me off a lot was when that motherfucker told me, when I found out he was on probation, and when you and I and him had been going to trade shows and shit, he told the fucking police I was the contact. If they can't find or get a hold of him, they're to find me. What the fuck? Like, for real? No, dude, no. There's a lot of shit. And I said this to him one of the last times I talked to him too. You know, he was trying to make up different stories. And, you know, I talked to Mark in Nor'easter just the other day, and he kind of told me the story that D-Rock gave him and the story he gave me, and they're nowhere near even the same fucking thing. But either way, he's a lying piece of shit. But anyone that pleads out, I mean, you're guilty. But last time D-Rock called me and told me about this shit and was trying to make excuses, I said, bro, I don't know what happened. DNA test is going to reveal it. Court's going to reveal it. I mean, we'll know. I said, I'll just say that I could never forgive someone for rape or something like that. Like, I forgive a murderer first. Like, there may be a legit reason for someone to murder someone else. Like it or not, I could at least see a legit reason. If you tried to fuck with someone's kid or something else, and, you know, or if someone tried to rape your girlfriend, hey, murder can be legit in that instance. But rape, there's never any legitimacy. I don't give a fuck about him. I don't give a fuck about anything else he did. The shit that he infiltrated himself in. He needed to be purged from this industry. It's just completely fucked that he had to destroy a girl's life
Multiple.
for him to be removed from this. Yeah, it's sick, it's sad, it's disgusting. Like, it's a good thing he's gone, but it's fucking pathetic and sad that that someone else had to, in a way, pay the price. Yeah.
It's too
And there
bad,
it is
man.
for all the people out there in podcast land listening and watching this shit. There you go. That's the fucking lowdown and raw, real, no bullshit of what the fuck's going on with you.
I love it. Perfect.
We just me and Garrett had kind of been through the ringer. We were, you know, with Kurt by our side in the whole thing. I mean, it was we were front lines throughout it for a very long time. And Kurt was in it because Kurt went out for him, but like we traveled with him. We talked to him every day. We were with him every day.
I'll
in
tell
the
you one thing
stories
that, and I don't mean to, I'm not saying this to put Kurt under the bus or anything at all, but I did not know D-Rock. He had sent me a couple messages, seeing my videos and saying some shit. I didn't know him or who he was or anything. But when I saw that Working Class had kind of accepted him, and then when I saw that Kurt had actually sponsored him for the Pope and Young Club, I actually thought Kurt and them knew him like personally and much better than they did. I think everybody kind of thought that, though. I think everybody thought everyone knew him better than they actually did.
Correct.
So that's, you know, and he used those different little pieces to weasel in places. And, you know, even like you said, you know, you and I are pretty close now. We keep up pretty often, you know, through when that shit started, and then we started hashing things out and figuring out what was right, what was real. You know, you and I had fun before. You came down and stayed with me. You and your wife came and stayed with me and went fishing and everything. But
if it wasn't for COVID,
you know,
we'd be back there again.
Right? Yeah, that fucked that plan
and
up.
the other, I tell you, the other major thing that he would always talk about is how you, Trevor, were always talking about hunting shit that you don't know about. And that's why you never say shit in the podcast, because, you know, you don't actually know what you're doing and this and that. And D-Rock doesn't say much because he doesn't want to make you look stupid or like you don't know anything. When the reality of
Trev,
it is,
that's why I don't talk either.
Yeah, just preemptively deflecting the fact that, you know, he didn't really know what to say about hunting. That's why he would take it into different places and different conversations.
That's why I didn't really have a hunting
and therefore,
podcast. It was like
Trev, I didn't know you. I didn't know you as far as to know how much you really actually know about hunting, or, you know, what he told me. He's like, Trev hunts one tree every time. He's killed all his deer from one tree. That's all he knows, is he takes his climber to one tree. Maybe that was true. Like, I didn't know you enough to know that. So I was just like, okay, like, and some people do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. If there's something wrong with that, if that's what you're doing, and then that you pretend that's what you're not, and then you're influencing or teaching people about how they should be doing it differently or something like that. Yeah. Fake it till you make it when you're never going to fucking make it.
And the reality of it, and the truth to that
knows
is,
that the motherfucker's even actually Mexican.
Yeah, that's what we were trying to figure out. It's just crazy, all the things and the lies that he had made up. I mean, like, I just didn't get it. Like, you know, so as we talk about this all the time, like, you were on this podcast. We had Cody DeQuisto on the podcast, and Cody had said, and this has been brought up in multiple conversations. Cody had said in one of the podcasts, said, I only hunt in the afternoon. And then he goes and he asks Cody, well, what'd you have for breakfast? Who the fuck cares what he had for breakfast? Why don't you ask him why he only hunts in the afternoon? This dude is a giant deer killer. I mean, kills fucking monsters. And he just said to you, I only hunt in the afternoon. You better fucking ask him why he only fucking hunts in the afternoon.
Yep. I remember that. He was talking about how he, you know, he's like, oh, I don't set up to hunt the morning. I go scout the morning, and then I set up to hunt, but I don't hunt mornings. Yeah. So did you have a bagel or Cheerios this morning? Motherfucker, what? You got one of the best deer killers talking about some off-topic shit about, no, I don't usually set up to hunt mornings. Here's what I'm doing. It's something different. Like that, like literally, I remember that specific moment because I was like, oh, let me turn the volume up a little bit so I can hear this. Because I wanted to hear what the fuck he had to say. And, you know,
He would do that with
subject.
multiple things, you know, and it was kind of
Yeah.
funny is like when we would podcast together, and the reason why a lot of times I didn't talk was we used to have this thing, you used to have to raise your hand to talk, right? Just so that we knew that it was kind of like, I don't fucking know. So your Sir Master fucking D-Rock could, you know, tell who could talk. But anyways, so we used to have to raise our hand just kind of like, hey, you know, I got a question. And then it would be like, no, let him talk. Let him talk. No, not right now. Let him talk. And I was like, because he wouldn't want an intelligent conversation or an intelligent question to come out of my mouth.
The podcast also, it went far from what it originated.
100%.
He got caught up in that, almost like he thought he was a fucking TV star, like he's like Jay Leno running the show and has this certain like persona and thing he has to follow and do and everything else, and be and I mean, if you've listened to my podcast, I'm completely fucking opposite. Like,
right.
Who knows where the fuck mine's going? And I like talking about hunting and I like talking about the other shit. But when someone starts dropping fucking knowledge, I'm not going to fucking just roll over it with some dumb shit.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the heart of this thing. Like, let's fucking get to it. And, you know, he started doing a lot of things that was for, like, for instance, he started talking about taking his kids out to shoot the CAM-X crossbow and this and that. And I was like, bro, when did you buy a CAM-X? Oh, well, I don't have one yet. But, you know, since Elite and the outdoor groups are sponsors, you know, I figure I'd throw CAM-X name in there some and this and that. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why? What? Now you just fucking lie. Why do I want to hear or trust anything else you got to say when you're telling me you're shooting a CAM-X and this and that when I know you're not? You know, and there was a lot of things like that, I mean, I don't know. He probably told you that I was pissed off because he's doing so great or something. But I couldn't listen to the podcast, dude, like, because I was, or the fox trapping. Holy fuck. Like, when he started talking about fox trap in one episode, he's like, well, fox are really easy. You just have a heart trap and you throw a little bit of deer meat in it and the fox go right in and then I eat them. Da. Motherfucker, I've caught a lot of fox. And I tell you what, it took me a couple years to start even somewhat consistently catching a fox. It took me 5 to 6 years to where I was reliably could run a line and have fox in it. And I tell you what, to get a fox and have a heart trap, I know 2 people that do it, and they have very specific fucking things they do. The one has a fake moss carpet that he takes. He hammers that fucking trap, hammers it down in the ground with stakes so there's no wobble, there's no rattle, they can't, and then he puts that fake moss in so they can't feel the cage, and he actually cuts the back top of the grid out to where it's just smaller than their head. But so when he wraps it with foliage, when a fox looks in, he can see that open part in the back and he feels like it's open, like it's leaves, like you can squeeze through there. So that fox does not feel that trap. He does not feel the metal stepping on it. It doesn't rock. It doesn't wobble. And he doesn't feel like he's trapped walking in. That's what it takes to get a fox and to have a heart. Not just set the motherfucker up in the hood with a little bit of deer meat in it. Like, sure, you're going to catch your fucking, your street rats and fucking dirty water stray cats, but you ain't catching a fox like that. And the other guy I know that does it, he goes to a major extreme. He takes a long have a heart trap, and then he's got black plastic on 2 of the sides and the top, and then in the back he has a plexiglass box that he made that he puts 2 chickens in and then covers that with the plastic. So the only way for that fox can walk around, he can smell them, he can hear them, he can everything. And when he looks in that have a heart trap, there's a thin piece of plexiglass is the only thing separating him and them two chickens trapped there. So he goes right in because it looks like he's got the two chickens trapped. He uses two chickens because he said he's actually had, when he does it with one chicken, multiple times the chickens have died. Like, I think just from fright, like just being trapped in that fucking box, they freak out and they die. So he puts two in to keep them calm. But yeah, that's what it takes. That's what it fucking takes, though, to do this. And then to have a guy just saying, oh, it's easy. You just do this and you do that. It's like, bro, I can't, I just stopped believing it all, man. You know,
I think there was a lot of people. So like a lot of people that I've talked to since this time has passed, and just people were like, you know, like I used to listen to the podcast, but it was just like mad cheesy. And like, it just wasn't what it was, or, you know, I couldn't listen to his stupid fucking voice and his dumb ninja tips and fucking this and that. It just wasn't good. And they're like, you know, with, you know, like you were sincere and stuff. And I was kind of felt bad for you, speaking about me. And it's just like, it is what it is, man. Like I get it, you know, and you could literally watch the numbers decline. They weren't increasing. They were declining. I have screenshots of them.
And he did do some things that were, I guess, good in the podcast
For sure.
realm, like some good ideas and stuff like that. And he was building it up to where he's getting brands, but then he just got carried away with it and started doing dumb shit. And overall, you know, his whole greater good thing, he ain't done fuck all for the greater good when that's the shit you end up being manipulative, lying, and a fucking rapist. Like, yeah, I don't care what you're saying, there's no greater good. I tell you what, Trev, I'm gonna have to send this to you. I gotta send it to Kurt too, because I told him I would. When I recorded the episode of Kills It with D-Rock, you know, I have that secretive service shout out in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
He sent it in, and it was about his wife.
Right, I remember that.
And her being a therapist and the shit that she's done and everything else and all. And when I listened back to that segment of me reading off D-Rock's words about his wife and like the therapy shit that she does and all, and it just fucking sends chills, dude. It's like, I don't know, it's creepy, it's fucked up. It's almost like he's trying to admit it without ever he's trying to admit it by giving his wife like a shout out in a way. It's fucking creepy, dude.
Jesus.
I'm gonna have to listen back to that.
Well, so it's funny, and a lot of people
I got rid of it. I have nothing with that motherfucker. I got rid of that shit. But I'll send you that recording because it's fucked up. Y'all can share it or whatever. I don't give a shit.
It is what it is. I mean, we need to get on with fucking deer season. So after this podcast, this is probably be the last time I talk about him until fucking he ends up in prison.
Yeah, and even then it'll just be a quick update.
Yeah, fuck him and feed him prison rations, and that's the end of it.
That's the truth of it. It's just stressful, man. You know, like we've been through so much with everything going on, you know, and it's like there was 2 years of my life.
But that's the thing. You've done so much since. Like, I mean, you and I talked from the get-go about you know what before it was the outdoor drive. Like, I mean, there was no name, there was no logo, there was no nothing, there was no team, there was you know, it was you decided that the podcast thing is what you wanted to do. You had never got to really do it the way you wanted to do it, and you decided that you were gonna continue it. And I'll tell you, at first, I wasn't sure about the success of it because of the polluted, I guess, kind of reputation or, the polluted reputation you had of your work ethic and what you were doing. And, you know, just through you and I talking and you hitting me up and asking me about this and that and, you know, and asking for my help, I will always help someone that wants help. If you will help yourself, I'm willing to help you. And the fact that you right away you were showing, this is what I want, this is what I'm doing, I'm getting after it, I am doing this. That's why I was like, bro, if I can help you, I will. You know what I mean? Because if you're willing to do it yourself, I'm willing to help.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it had to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I think there was a lot that needed to be heard that we're on the right track. You know, like and when this had all gone down, I mean, huge thanks to Steven, because when I was just like, bro, you know, we had talked about, you know, there was these like crazy, I hate to go back to it, but there was like these crazy
Yeah.
things on, like, we had talked to Steven about, you know, co-hosting with me from the beginning, like, because D-Rock had these big, huge, giant plans, because he had a deal with the Outdoor Channel and the Sportsman's Channel, because he was going to have his own TV show, a late night TV show. Like, you know, I don't know what, I don't really know. I kind of forget because I really don't care, but he wanted to have this late night talk show on the Sportsman and Outdoor Channel to talk with, you know, celebrities and stuff. So me and Steven, or I had to find a co-host to be on the podcast with me. So I had already talked to Steven about it because, you know, like I'm living this dream, like his dream, you know, like just this lie that is like actually like fucking believable. Right. So like, which is cool because it kind of puts some fire in.
I can't think of a harder industry to try to fake your way in when it requires knowledge. And the other thing about this industry, let's admit it, motherfuckers are ruthless, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People are fucking ruthless with this hunting shit. I mean, if they don't like the deer you kill, they're fucking way. If they think you're full of shit, they're lighting your ass the fuck up. Like, people can be fucking ruthless. And going back to, you know, the quote unquote masculinity and ego-driven nature of hunting, and guys feeling the need to be that and to be a figure. Fuck, man, I can't really think of anything else that would be harder than, I guess, to relate again back to MMA and say, well, I mean, yeah, one time, I mean, you probably don't remember. It was like UFC -3, but I had the title back then. You know, and there's these other organizations. They were really big at the time, and I was a champion, but I'm not going to talk about them on the podcast because, you know, Trev didn't do well in his career, and I don't want to make him feel bad about it. So I'm just not going to bring any of that up. Now, I'm going to play the role of the rookie fighter. Boom.
Perfectly said.
Well, that's it. So,
Perfectly
so,
said.
So it's kind of funny is during turkey season. So last year I shot 3 with the bow, right? So that was my goal.
Right.
I set
Zeus
out
3 birds.
And that was my goal, was to tag out on private land with my bow, and so I did it. And D-Rock had shot a bird, but he didn't want to share it because he didn't want to take away the, you know, I was having a good season, so he didn't want to take away from that. So he just put it in the story one time. But it was like, it was a turkey, and he just like fucking photoshopped a Zeus into it. Like a Zeus. It was just like a Zeus. Zeus just laying on the ground next to a dead turkey. I don't even know how the
He probably fucking saw one road killed and just laid a Zeus next to it that was bloody from a button doe and said, oh, I'll get a turkey pick.
But like, why wouldn't you want to share those pictures? Like, why wouldn't you?
Any pictures?
What are you like
from his entire life?
Or not even? How about the fact of
that is the other thing I said this to him one time too. I was like, all right, either you are completely full of shit, or you are the biggest piece of shit in the outdoor industry. It's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, if you've killed 30 turkeys with your bow, you're either a fucking poacher, because I'm pretty sure if we look back, we're not going to find you have 30 registered turkeys with a bow for the state of Connecticut. So either you're a lying motherfucker and you didn't kill all these birds, or you are the biggest piece of shit in the outdoors because you are killing all these birds and you have nothing to show for it. You're not keeping anything. What are you doing with them all? Just killing them, throwing them all away and not registering them?
Well, not even.
So
not
which
even,
is it? Are you a lying motherfucker, or are you just a piece of shit?
Do you know how I know that he didn't kill 30 turkeys with a bow? is because when I went into his basement, into his studio one time, I had given him a nice plaque. You see the nice plaque over my shoulder here, and I'm sitting there, and I'm at the table down in his basement, dude, and I'm like, oh, cool, man. He's got a couple mounts, whatever, cool, whatever, just hanging out. And I look over, dude, and there's a fucking plaque I give him. I'm like, the fuck is wrong with that thing? I'm like, hey, D-Rock. I said, hey, you like it the backwards way? He's like, what? He's like, I think it looks better that way. I'm like, I said, the fucking fan is backwards. What do you mean you like it better that way? That's when I knew he did not kill 30 turkeys with his fucking bow. He didn't even know how to put the turkey fan in the mount properly.
I think he just liked the view from the pooper.
Well, he will become that fan shortly.
Oh, shit, I'm losing you guys. I'm powering off. Fuck.
Oh, Jesus. Well, oh.
I think we lost him.
We lost him. Well, I mean, it's what better way to, kind of, we've been through the ringer.
Yeah. And at least it froze on a really good pose.
Look at him, man. He's so nice. He's so nice looking. No, it's been a great ride, man. It's I know, and I don't want to keep on the same exact subject constantly with the whole D-Rock thing, but I felt that it needed that, me and Garrett in the same place with Steven, and the actual evolution of the Outdoor Drive podcast. When this had all started, like I was saying in the story prior, was that when this had all gone down, I had contacted Steven because we were going to be partners in this way before with the East Coast Bow Hunting Podcast. And then when it had all happened, I had called Steven. I was like, hey, Steve, bro, this shit is not good, man. You think you want to be a co-host on a fucking podcast? Because we're about to take over East Coast Bow Hunting Podcast. And so this had all planned out. We were all excited to do it, and we were going to
just to clarify, when you called, it wasn't quite so mellow. It was more of like you were holding the bag to your face going, dude, shit got bad. Are you still interested? Like trying not to hyperventilate.
Right. Exactly. And then one thing leads to another, and come to find out I'm a little bit smarter than that. And there was a lot of things that went on, and he actually had opened up an LLC without my name on it when East Coast Bow Hunting Podcast. So I was like, all right, well, dude, listen, you're going to have to sign this over to me. He didn't want to sign it over. And I was like, well, what do you mean, bro? Like, I own half of it. You need to sign this over or I'm not going to continue, because he thought that maybe he'd get away with it.
Right.
And he would be able to come back on the podcast and I would build it while he was gone. And that wasn't the case. So I said, you know what? Fuck you. Have a nice day. We're starting our own podcast. And then, so a lot of you may have seen this. It was East Coast Traditions. And I had taken over the platform of East Coast Bow Hunting Podcast with East Coast Traditions. And then we kind of thought about it, and it was just not the best to have a podcast that had that name in it. And we decided that, fuck it, man, we're going to do the Outdoor Drive. And it took a long time, you know what I'm saying? And we ended up getting there, dude. And it's evolved from there. And we are now the Outdoor Drive podcast. And it was all because of him. If it wasn't for him, then we would have never had this, So I think it's pretty good.
In 10 to 20 years, we can go shake his hand.
Maybe.
Tell him thanks.
If we're lucky.
Well, yeah.
If we're lucky.
I
Garrett's
don't
going to
think he'll
join
make it
back
that
in
far.
with us. I just sent him
cool.
over the passcode and the link back into the conversation here. So he's probably going to join us back in here. So,
yeah, that's fine.
I didn't want to, deer season's coming up, man. And I really don't want to glock on this subject for the entire deer season. I want this up and out of my life. I want to move on. I'm very thankful for the people that I was able to meet throughout all of that clusterfuck, but this is who we are, man. And this is where we'll be for a very long time. I see a very big future for all of us here.
Definitely. No, we've let so many other people get their piece and their thoughts out that G needed his time on the mic, and really, since he was in the middle, all of it from the get-go. So
yeah,
I think it was good to just let him vent and be the end of it.
For sure. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And G has been like a brother to me throughout this whole entire thing. I mean, I talk to him just like I talk to you, Steven, throughout
Right.
this whole entire thing every fucking day. And if it wasn't for the two of you, there probably wouldn't be the Outdoor Drive podcast, because I probably would have fucking given up a long time ago. But both of you have kind of pushed the forward that now is the time, and there was some advice from some other people, and they're like, well, just wait. And I was like, I can't, dude. Like, the people are going to wonder where the fuck we went. Like, I'm loyal to the people who listen to us.
Right.
That's who I'm loyal to, because those people are family to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, those people are the people that I talk to every day. I talk to listeners every single day. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a fucking podcast. So how am I going to stop doing what we're doing? We're just going to give them a way better place and a way better platform. And that's what we're going to do.
There you go.
That's what we're going to fucking do.
Easy enough.
All right. So we got Garret back. You're all right there,
we're
buddy?
Back.
Jeez, that was
Sorry
close.
about that, guys. He
It's all good.
had to change scenery too. Had to get over here closer to a plug. My fucking tablet started dying and fucker shut down quicker than D-Rock's chances on for lover and likes.
I don't know. I think he could start his own episode of that soon. He's got that hair for it.
Bird edition.
For love or likes,
I
12 by
really
12.
liked that episode. I just couldn't tell them apart because they're all wearing orange.
It was the one with the black greasy hair.
Oh, fuck.
Crazy.
Soap on the rope costs extra.
Well, he was really easy to pick out because you never see his face. His head's always in the corner.
He's probably picked out a couple button bros by now.
I speaking of, to go towards commissary, all profits go to commissary, but we have a Button Dough Club t-shirt that is up for sale right now. If you guys want the link, just message me and I'll make sure to send that over to you. So you guys all know what the Button Dough thing is. If you haven't heard it, you can go to Working Class Bowhunter. You can listen to Kurt's or Deer Hunter podcast to hear about the
Or just listen to this whole episode. I
Right.
think we covered a couple button doughs.
Yeah, so we had shot at it, but we have a Button Dough Club t-shirt that's actually for sale at this point. So just if anybody wants to get in on that. And actually, funny part is people are so generous, and I bet you he's gonna get a fucking pallet of them, because everybody who's ordered a t-shirt has also ordered him one also. So he should have one for every day of the week. Hopefully he can take it with him,
Fucking excellent.
because it is a penitentiary orange. So
He'll be outfitted with jumpsuit orange, where he won't even have to borrow clothes to take more from the system.
that's right.
You'll be able to identify his new clique. They won't have to drop pockets. I'll just see the shirts.
Hopefully see who else he can lie to. But anyways, so Garret, what's your you got big things going on this season, man? Where are you traveling to? What do you got going on, bro? You still filming for Tack Driver? What's up? Let's get off some negative.
I gotta talk to Nick. I think I'm still gonna film for Tack Driver. I might work with them. Either way, I'm still gonna be working with them guys because I love the products and love those dudes. Whether you know how I am, man. Whether it's official or not, if you're my boy and I'm with you, you know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll still be doing stuff with Nikki and all, but I may be filming for something a little bit different, and that would be Whitetail Addictions. I've kind of just trickled this out a couple little places, but I'm going to be now working with Lone Wolf Custom Gear.
Congratulations, brother.
Nice.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, big switch from things. But yeah, looking to work with Lone Wolf Custom Gear. I mean, when Cody hits you up and says, all right, what's it going to take for Modern Assassin to work with Custom Gear? When that actually, just that message said a lot to me. I've been putting a lot of time and a lot of work in this industry, and I've done a lot of things. And it's my fault that most of the things that I've done, people don't know about and they haven't seen. I mean, you've got to see a lot of my personal shit that I have, but I have so much content and I've done so many things that people don't know about because I don't like living in that spotlight. Like, I mean, I don't know if you pay attention to my Instagram and shit at all, but I used to post every day to be relevant and shit. Now I fucking post once a week or something when I feel like it. Like, I don't know. Putting the time in there is not what gets shit done elsewhere. Now, I will say, putting the time in there is the reason I am on the Outdoor Drive podcast. It is the reason that, you know, I had Whitetail Distraction come down and the Time's Up Outdoors boys. And the reason Lift to Hunt came out from Wisconsin to shoot from us. And the reason Tim Wells has come down here, you know. But, you know, I've just backed off a lot of that shit. I'm doing a lot of my own work, keeping my head fucking straight when I can. And yeah, I got a lot of things grinding on. I told you I'm bringing back the Square Up. I have another product that I'm really excited about that gave you just a little insight and view on. But yeah, going to be not just hunting with custom gear equipment, but actually having some input design and working on things like that, you know, giving feedback, design implementations, and just try to, you know, what I do is I take things and generally I find out a way to make them better. And I believe that's exactly what Lone Wolf Custom Gear is. I mean, they are the best shit out there. I mean, sure, you pay for it. It's more expensive, but it doesn't change the fact that, I mean, if you want the top of the line out there, there's really no second guessing. There's no substitute. And to have always rolled independently and do my own thing and then have guys like that build the best shit and they don't give a fuck about what other people say, and to want me to join part of that. And, you know, and they're also the most elite group of solo hunters out there. And I'm not even going to pretend or claim or personify that I am on the whitetail level that those guys are. I mean, sure, the level of addiction is there, no doubt, but I spread myself so thin on hunting whitetail, on hunting sika, on hunting ducks, on hunting geese, on hunting doves, on dog training, on bow fishing, on video editing, on podcasting, on all these different things that I do, that I will never quite master whitetail the way that those guys have. And I think they know that, and they see my content though and know what I do and still want me to be part of that. And to me, that said a fucking lot, man. Mm-hmm. So I'm proud to be part of that. It sounds counterintuitive, but Lone Wolf pack.
I love it, dude. Congratulations. That's huge, man. That's something you've been, you know, it's kind of a place and a good place for you, to be honest.
Yeah. And it's one of the reasons I just recently put out the video. You know, I did a full video of my climbing, hanging, filming, and hunting system. You know, I believe it was like over a half hour long. It's a long fucking video, but it literally shows people, which is most of the questions I get, a lot of them are about saddle hunting and how do I do this? How do you do that? How do you film with this? How do you blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, I'm going to make you an in-depth view of here's the shit laid out on the table to how it goes in my backpack to how it then goes on my back, up a tree to a deer dead and back down. And I wanted to do that because I am going to be changing hunting systems this year with the Lone Wolf sticks, because instead of the Wild Edge steps, I'm going to be using the sticks. And instead of a platform, I've decided, I was so stoked when I saw the 0.5. I'm like, that's it. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, I need a platform-sized tree stand, like something I can turn around on to get that offside shot. Or, you know, last year, I know that this upper 130, low 140s 8-pointer, if I would have been able to hang in the first cluster of trees that I wanted to, where I needed a stand, that deer I would have had a 7-yard shot on. But it wouldn't have worked hanging with the saddle. I would have been hanging outside the cluster of trees instead of inside it. and I just didn't have enough room to work in it. So I moved to what I thought was the next best spot. And I had some other bucks pass right by me, but that big fucker, closest he got was 45 yards, and I would have had a 7-yard shot. So like I said, I mean, I know saddles have their advantage, and I know tree stands have their advantage, and I want to take advantage of each of those. I ain't going to pigeonhole myself to shit, man. It's the way a lot of people are. They think it's one or the other, and I'm like, man, I'm using what fucking works to kill deer. Like, fuck what y'all say, fuck what y'all think, fuck what your opinion is. I mean, sure, I'm not going to say I know everything, and I ain't going to listen to people, but people that think they know everything or have everything figured out, they're the last fucking people I want to talk to, you know?
Yeah, and it's you know, whether it's a platform with a saddle, whether it's, you know, you're trying this new tree stand with a saddle, and you know, it doesn't really matter what. I mean, that's what we think is the best. You know, we're constantly changing up things.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like,
you're gonna do what you think's the best.
I mean, this, you know, I ran the ring of steps. I still run the ring of steps. It's one of my favorite ways, but I also gonna run the new saddle. I mean, the new platform. You're just constantly trying to make it better.
The new style perch.
The new style perch. Yep. And I also, I have what? And I'm also going to run
the new style
podium.
perch is badass. It's a perch that locks in like that, like the Ridge Runner and everything. That thing's fucking dope.
Yeah. So like I have a podium. I have a, you know, a lone wolf. Actually I'm letting a buddy borrow at this point. Just cause I have too much shit, but he wanted to try it. So I send it down to him, man. So it's like, you know, it's constantly, you know, just changing things up and doing different things to kind of succeed and move along. We lose him again.
Yeah, it looks
It's
like
not a good freeze. So I guess we lost Garrett there, but I guess it's better for you, better for us. His fucking gypsy soul, you never know where he's gonna go. And he just up and different, like poof, he's gone. But no, we can't thank him enough for joining us on the podcast, and it won't be the last time. And we look forward to seeing him in a lot of places. What do you say, Steve?
Yeah, we'll definitely catch up, and I know we'll hear some of his hunting stories throughout the season. We'll bring him on and do quick shows here and there with him, as well as just teasers and maybe some video work here and there. We'll see. But since that's kind of the unexpected end of this, I guess, G, thanks for jumping on. No, you can't hear us, but we appreciate it. You know, you're right here with us. And for everyone else listening, we greatly appreciate you guys. We couldn't do it without you. And thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.
Hold on, timeout.
Uh-oh.
Make sure to get over to Kills It Podcast or The Modern Assassin on YouTube while you're here and you're watching us. Get over there, subscribe, check them out, themodernassassins.com also. You can check him out on there, and you can kind of follow along with exactly what he's doing. You can find him on all social media platforms, The Modern Assassin, and Kills It Podcast.
I appreciate that, Trev. I'm used to having them there to ask that of, so
It's all
good cover.
man.
I'll let him know you did you right.
For sure.
All right, well, let's wrap it up.